Hi there, I'm so glad you could join me today for this remarketing tutorial. What I want to do in this video is to just show you what remarketing can do for you, a brief overview of how to set it up, because it's a really powerful tool for any advertiser. And in fact, even if you're not advertising, we'll get onto that in a moment too. So what I'm going to be covering it's just the broad overview. So I'm just going to briefly talk about what remarketing actually is, the reasons you should be doing it, and then I'll just briefly go on to talk about how it actually works. And finally, I will actually run through a guide on the basics of setting it up, so that if you want to get started, then you can. So you may or may not have heard about remarketing. You've probably experienced remarketing. What remarketing is a way of showing ads to people who have previously visited your website or your YouTube channel. You will probably have experienced it in a way that where you have been browsing on a website, you've been maybe on shopping for something, you've viewed certain products, you maybe added certain products to your shopping cart. For whatever reason, you didn't go ahead and complete your purchase. The next thing you know, you're browsing other websites across the internet, and hey presto, you're suddenly seeing adverts for the website that you had been on earlier that day or a few days before. You're actually seeing the product that you added to your cart, and you kind of you sort of sit there thinking, good grief, how on earth did they know that was what that's really coincidental. I was just looking at that shirt or that pair of shoes or that jacket. What they're doing is they're remarketing to you. You will also have experienced it. You can also, I'm talking specifically about AdWords remarketing today, but you will probably have experienced it on Facebook as well. People will remarket to you, show ads to you on Facebook after you've visited their website. So same thing can happen. You can be viewing products or a certain website, and then all of a sudden you keep seeing that same website or that same brand, that same person, that same company appearing on your feed in Facebook. That's the same thing. They are remarketing to you. So that's, in a nutshell, what remarketing is. It's a way of showing ads to predefined audiences, usually people that have visited your website. So the next question is, why would you use remarketing? I'm sure you've probably experienced the annoyance when you almost feel like you're being stalked and followed around the internet by these companies and these brands. So if it has the potential to annoy people, why would you do it? Well, I'll cover the annoying people bit first. If it's not done properly, then yes, it can be annoying, and it can feel like you're being stalked and can feel a little bit creepy. That's when remarketing is done poorly. So I'm not obviously advocating that you do a bad job of remarketing. On the other hand, when you do a good job of remarketing, what it can do is increase your conversions, reduce your cost per conversion, and actually drive a much more successful advertising campaign. So, think about why people come to your website. So if you are running ads, or even if you're investing in SEO, it's still a time or cost investment, even if you're not physically paying for ads to come to your website. It's all the effort you have put in to get that traffic to your website. Most people will leave without doing anything. If you're an e-commerce business, obviously you want them to buy something. If you're trying to generate leads or collect emails, you want them to do something before they leave. The vast majority of visitors will leave without doing anything. Now, sometimes it's because they're genuinely not interested in what you're doing. Fair enough, you can't please everybody. Sometimes I feel, particularly with e-commerce businesses, They can, they may be on their phone, on their laptop, in front of the telly. They're trying to place an order. Something happens to distract them. The baby starts crying. The dog needs to be let out. Or, the phone rings. Something happens. They get distracted and they just never finish it. They intended to, but they just don't. So that's why using remarketing and doing it properly, we can then catch those people, and it's a subtle and it's a gentle reminder. And I've done it, it's happened to me, and it reminds you, think, oh goodness, I never finished. I never finished buying that watch or that phone or whatever. And so you'll click on the remarketing ad and it'll remind you, and you'll go back and you'll complete your order. That's why you use it. It's been proven to that it can increase conversion rates by about 400%. It's also a lot cheaper. So the first time somebody comes to your website, they maybe don't know you. They haven't come across you before. They're what we call cold traffic. So they're not familiar with your brand, not familiar with your products. Second time they come to your website, they already know you. You're recognized, you're familiar. So they're more likely to feel more comfortable on your website and finish your purchase, presuming, of course, that your messaging and everything on your website supports the fact that you are a reputable, trustworthy business. So that's why remarketing is so good and why it can be so successful, that it gets these people back. It's cheaper to get them to come back and convert the second time than it is the first time. You just need to keep reminding and following up these people to bring them back, and then hopefully help them and lead them to finishing whatever it is you want them to do on your website. So that's why you would use remarketing. Advantages, I've just basically covered really the advantages of remarketing. It's much cheaper traffic. It's cheaper, usually cheaper conversions on your remarketing campaigns. And it does, it's a good way of keeping you top of mind. So, the internet's so transient these days. You're off, and it's happened to me where I found a really good website. I haven't actually maybe bookmarked them or thought, haven't physically made a note of the website I'm on, but I can't remember. And I think, what was the name of that website I was on the other day? Oh my God, it was really, really good, and I wanted to buy whatever it was that was on there, but I can't remember where it was or what the name was to search for it again. Well, if you're doing remarketing, then I will see your ads, and then it will trigger my memory about that's them, off you go, and everybody's happy because I found the site that I was looking for and you've got a new customer. So hopefully that has explained why you'd want to do remarketing and what the advantages of it are for your business. So how does it all work? How do you set it up? So there are a few stages. The first thing that you need to do, so basically how it works, remarketing, just take a step back for a second. How it works is that when you visit a website, there's a piece of code on that website which it tags you, puts a cookie on your browser, so that you are effectively tagged to say you have visited this website. And it can also track what you do and your behavior on that website. I'll come to the reason why we need that shortly. So in order to use remarketing, the first thing you need to do is to have that remarketing tag on your website. That allows you to build these, what we call audiences or lists, remarketing lists. So once you've got your tag on your website, you then to define the lists or audiences that you want to build, so that which groups of people you want to build an audience for that you can then target with remarketing. It will be things like either everybody who visited my website, everybody who added something to my shopping cart, everybody who visited this page, or everybody who spent more than 5 minutes on my site. So once you've defined your audiences that you want to target, it then, depending on how much traffic you get to your website, if you have a very high traffic website, then you'll get quite quickly will build a very large list, a large audience. You can't see who's on the audience. I do get this asked me. You can't see physically actually who's on the audience, who's in your list of remarketing people. You just see that you have got 650, 6,500, 65,000 people on that list, people that Google has tagged with this cookie in their browser. So over time you will build your audiences, and then you're able to show your ads to the people in your audience. So it's all kind of fairly, hopefully I've explained that. It's fairly straightforward, the process that you need to go through. So when we talk about defining your audience, I briefly covered it just now. There are lots of different combinations that you can use. Now, obviously, the most common way that people do this is they'll build an audience, build a list of people who visited their website. But what you can also do is, if you have a YouTube channel and you have, if you have quite good traction with your videos, you can build a list of people who interact with your videos. So not necessarily, I've put YouTube channel subscribers as a separate list, because yes, you can build a list of your subscribers, but even if somebody isn't a subscriber, if they come and watch a video, share, comment, or click on and interact with your videos, you can add them to your remarketing list. This is quite, it's a tactic that a lot of people use. It's quite cheap to send paid traffic to a video. So you basically, they'll get people to the video, build a list out of the video visitors, and then just use that to remarket to. That's just another little tactic that some people use. What a lot of people don't realize that you can do in YouTube is actually upload a list of email subscribers. This is similar to the Facebook custom audience, where you upload emails and it basically matches those emails with the emails of people on Facebook, and you can show ads to them. So same thing with Google, you can upload your email list and then show ads to them. It's not going to match everybody as it does with Facebook. So basically, if anybody has a Google login, then it will match those, and then you can build a list with those email subscribers. So maybe you've got old customers that haven't bought from you for quite a while, and you could upload them and then start showing ads to them. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it. So let's get on to how you actually set things up. So first thing you obviously need to do, as I mentioned, is to add the tag to your site. So from within your AdWords dashboard, if you look down on the left-hand side at the bottom, you'll see this little menu, which will include the shared library. So if you go to the shared library, you'll see various options, one of which is the audiences. So reach people who visited your site, engaged with your app, watched your video, and more. So when you click on this, now if you've never set up a remarketing list before, you'll get this screen. And so most people here would choose the website visitors option. Obviously, I haven't mentioned mobile apps. That's not relevant for most people. There's your customer emails option there at the bottom right, and your YouTube users there underneath. Most people, the easiest way to start is with website visitors. So you click on that option, and it will allow you to create a list, or rather it will generate a tag. Now, if you have been in here before and created a list, you'll get this screen. So you'll either get the previous screen or you'll get this one. However you get here, you'll see at the top right here where it'll give you a warning to say that it can't detect your tag on your website. So when you click that little tag details button there, it will open a little pop-up box, and then you'll need to click on that setup box at the top there, and that will then show you the code for your remarketing tag. Now, if you are an e-commerce business, there are two, which I didn't mention this earlier, there's kind of two different types of remarketing. When I was mentioning the fact that you suddenly see product ads for the products that you were looking at, that's a specific type of remarketing for e-commerce businesses, which is called dynamic remarketing. So the code, if you are an e-commerce business, the code that you need to install on your website needs to be slightly different, because it also doesn't just need to track who visited, it needs to also track this information about which products they looked at, whether they added stuff to your shopping cart, and that kind of thing. So at this stage, if you are a normal business where just maybe you want to collect emails, you're not e-commerce, then you just leave the screen as it is here, and just copy and paste this Google code for remarketing tag at the bottom here. There's an option to email it to your web developer, who will be able to install it for you. If you are an e-commerce business or any of these other types that you can see in that drop-down box on the right there, then you do need to select the business type here, and you'll choose retail, and it will give you a slightly different remarketing tag. Now, there is some tweaking that needs to be done to this tag in order to pass this various information from your shopping cart, from your web pages, but your web developer should be able to sort that out for you. If not, you should be able to find somebody quite cheaply on Fiverr or Upwork or People Per Hour, and they will be able to tweak that tag and install it for you. It shouldn't cost much. So if you're e-commerce, select that retail option there, and then underneath you will get this option to email it to your web developer. Suggest you email it to yourself and your developer with a little note asking them to install it for you. All the instructions will be included in the email. Okay, so once that tag is installed on your website, then this is when you start creating your remarketing lists. So from the screen, in fact, I go back again. So when it takes you back to this screen where you can see that big plus remarketing list on the left there, when you click that button, you'll have this little box appearing where you can choose which remarketing list you want to create. So we're going to choose website visitors in this case. And here is where it can get quite funky. So I did mention before you can just choose to have a list of just everybody that visited your page, which is great. And I suggest that you have a list of everybody that visited your page. But what you have to remember is that some people are going to be more valuable to you than other people. So somebody who came and spent and actually added products to their shopping cart and even started going through the checkout are a much more valuable prospect to you than somebody that just kind of had a look at a few pages and then left. So this is where we can start building these kind of custom lists, and you can say, so for example, the third option here, second option, visitors of a page who did not visit another page. So this one, for example, we would say visitors of a page, i.e. shopping cart. Usually you don't visit your shopping, well, most e-commerce platforms, if you click on your shopping cart, and most people don't click on the shopping cart if they haven't added anything to it. So if you would say visitors of a page of the shopping cart who did not visit the shopping order confirmation page. So they've added something to their shopping cart, but they didn't check out. These are our cart abandoners. Okay. Visitors of a page during specific dates. Maybe you had a special offer or a promotion running at a certain time and you want to target just the people that visited then. There's lots of combinations, but as a standard, if you're an e-commerce business, if you're a normal business, you'd usually just choose visitors of a page. If you're e-commerce businesses, you'd have all visitors. You'd also want to have a list of your shopping cart abandoners. In both instances, if you have a conversion action that people are doing on your website, whether that's purchasing something, downloading something, filling out a form, you also want to build a list of the people that actually completed that action. Because again, there's nothing worse than going to a website, doing whatever it is they want you to do, filling out the form, making a purchase, and then you keep seeing adverts for that same person. You're like, just leave me alone. I've already finished buying something from you. So to stop that from happening, we also create a list of people who completed the checkout. So visitors of the page would be whatever your order confirmation page is. And then those would be the people who actually completed your checkout, and you can not show ads to those people. So there's lots of different options. And here we go. I've put up some suggested ones. So it's a good idea to segment your lists by day ranges, because somebody who visited your website within the last week is probably a more valuable lead than somebody who visited it a month ago. So you might treat those a little bit differently when you're doing your adverts. Your messaging might be slightly different. You might be willing to pay more to show an ad to somebody who only visited 3 days ago rather than somebody who visited 3 weeks ago. So that's always a good idea. Converted visitors, as I just said, you need to have a list of those. People who view product pages, so look at your URLs, and most shopping carts, product URLs always have a set format. See if you can figure out what that set format is, so that you can, if people have looked at products, then they're clearly more interested than just if they just wandered around your website and a little poke about here and there. So as I said, people who viewed the shopping cart and checkout abandoners, lots of different options. Loads and loads of different options, way too many to go into here. But these are the basics, really. At the very minimum, you'd have all visitors for 7, 14 and 30 days, and converted visitors, and checkout abandoners if you're an e-commerce business. So once you've built your lists and you actually have some people in them, then you'll create your remarketing campaigns. I'm going to run through this quite quickly, just to sort of give you an overview of how it works. So when you start a new campaign, you'll choose display network only. You need to make sure the default setting it'll say marketing objectives, so have that marketing objectives box selected. You do not want to choose that. You want to choose no marketing objective, which might make you feel a bit daft, but it's Google's way of restricting your options if you choose the other one, and select the all features. It's very important that you please don't target the whole world with one campaign. If you do have customers all over the world, then set up one remarketing campaign per country. If you're a local business, you can even do this locally. But at the very, the minimum, one campaign per country. You'll set your budget here. I'd set, you can set it quite a modest budget to start with. See how you get on. You can use ad extensions if this is relevant. It might not be relevant for many people. So if you are targeting people who might come and see you locally, then check that location box. If you want to encourage people to call you, then add the call extension here. Now this section is very important. At the bottom of the page under Advanced Settings, you'll see an option that says Ad Delivery. If you click the little plus sign, then you will get this option. So ad rotation, for remarketing, it's fine to leave it as optimized for conversions. The important feature here is the frequency capping. Now this, remember where I said it's really annoying when you just see ads again and again and again and again, and you just want to just leave me alone. I don't want to see your ads anymore. That's because they haven't used this frequency capping. So what this does, it basically just limits how many times any one person can see your ad. because you don't want to annoy them. It's the last thing you want to do. So the default will be set to no cap on viewable impressions. So just make sure you check the other box and set your impression limits. I would say, I usually suggest sort of for image ads, you can get away with maybe 3 to 5 impressions per day. For text ads, probably if you can do about maybe 5 to 7 per day, and that's it. Now this, where I mentioned if you're running shopping ads and you are an e-commerce business, this is where we set up the dynamic ads so that people will actually see ads for the particular products that they were viewing. So if you are an e-commerce, then you need to check this little box here that says use dynamic ads. And at that point, it will ask you to select your feed. So if you're running shopping ads, you'll have a feed in Google Merchant Center, and then you just select the feed here, and then it links your shopping Merchant Center shopping feed with your dynamic remarketing campaign. You just then have to give it a campaign name. So I would suggest you just call it remarketing with the country, and then I would normally separate your types of lists that you're targeting. So whether it's, so I put remarketing UK all visitors, and you might have another campaign that would be remarketing UK cart abandoners. So you can kind of keep them a bit more separate. It's a little bit easier to manage. But to start with, you can just have one campaign. It will take you through to create your first ad group. I would suggest that you have one ad group per list, so that it's easy then to see which list is performing best. So this is how I do it. I name my ad group the same as my list. So for instance, all visitors, 30 days. Set a bid. Your bids can be quite low for remarketing. If you're used to paying several pounds a click for normal ads, then you're in the pence range, sort of 50p, 30p, 50p to start off with should be fine. Okay, next section is where you actually tell it which remarketing list you're going to target with this particular ad group. So how to target your ads, you'll select the interests and remarketing, which will then, as you can see below, you'll have to choose a category. So when you select the category, then you'll get the option there for remarketing lists underneath. So you select that one, and then you'll see all the lists that you've already created for your cart abandoners, your all visitors, 30 days, 7 days, 14 days, whatever. So this particular instance, it was all visitors 30 days. You just check the little double arrow on the right hand side there, and it'll pop across into that right hand column. As I said, it's better to have one list per ad group, just for ease of management. Next, you'll see this little, underneath that previous section, you'll see this that says targeting optimization, and it will be checked. And it says, let AdWords automatically find new customers. And you think, oh, well, that sounds really good. No. Google will just look at your remarketing. The whole point of remarketing is you're targeting people who are warm leads. They've been to your website. You don't want Google going off and finding 500,000 other people who they think are similar to the people that... No, you don't want that. Please make sure you uncheck that box, because the whole point of this is you are targeting only the people that have visited your website, nobody else. So make sure you uncheck that box. Next, we need to create your ads. And Google have some great tools within AdWords to allow you to create some really, some pretty nice looking ads. And obviously this is also where we create our dynamic ads, the product ads that I mentioned before. So once you're inside your ad group, once you're inside your campaign or an ad group, you'll see the ads tab at the top there. So once you click on that, it'll take you inside and it should tell you that you have no ads, obviously, and then you'll see this red button to create a new ad. Now you will get, well, 4 options, as you can see here. The last one is not relevant to us, but the first 3, I'm going to go through a very brief overview of these ads. I'm not going to go into huge detail. It'll take me way too long to go into huge detail of every step-by-step option of creating these ads. The only way to really learn is to just go in and have a play. You can't mess anything up, and it's pretty straightforward if you just follow and fill in the gaps to create your ads. So the first option here, as you can see, is a responsive ad. So when you select that one, this is the option that you'll get. As the name suggests, this is an ad that will automatically resize to, depending on whether you're viewing on a mobile, a tablet, or a desktop. And it automatically resizes to the location that Google wants to place the ad. So sometimes there'll be, as you can see here, just a squarish one. Sometimes they'll be long and tall. Sometimes they'll be wide and shallow. So you don't really have a lot of control over how this one will look. You just enter the content and Google will do the rest. So on the left here, as you can see, you can add an image and a logo. The logo doesn't always show in all options, but if you have one, add it. You want to add everything you can. You have short headline, long headline, description, business name, and final URL. Final URL is the landing page that you want this ad. When they click this ad, that's where you want them to end up. So that's a responsive ad. They seem to work okay. For an e-commerce business, obviously, we're going to focus on dynamic ads. But if you also want to do some standard ads going to your homepage or something, then these might be an option as well. So the next option was the image ad. So when you choose that one, it opens up a little pop-up little box that you can see here, where you enter the URL for the site that you're sending traffic to at the top there, where it says get ad ideas, and you hit create ad. It goes off and scans the website and pulls some images and whatever from the website so that you can start, and gives you a basic template. It will then give you quite a few options of different types of ads that you could build. Now some will be a lot more appealing, some will suit your brand better. Bear in mind when you look at this, like that one on the bottom left there, it's like, where did it get that orange and that yellow from? All of these are completely editable. You can change the colors, the images, the text, obviously. So, but it gives you a really great place to start. And you can create some quite nice ads from these. I particularly like that one second in from the left. I quite like that one with this flowers in the background. That looks quite nice. Excuse me. So you can look here and decide which one you like. If you hover over any of these, you'll get a little edit button appearing. You click the edit button and then it takes you through to the dashboard where you can actually fiddle with and change your ad. So I would always, it mentions here headline and description is optional. So you could just delete both those words and just end up with a blank, that picture and the logo at the top and a learn more at the bottom, or buy now or whatever, or go start shopping. It's entirely up to you. If that suits your brand, then fine. If not, I would recommend that you add as much information here as you can. As you scroll down the page, it will ask you for things like a display URL and the final URL where you want this ad to go to. Fill in all the information. You can preview this. This ad will then, if you look at the top there, it says sample ad sizes. This ad will then be created in all the different various sizes that would be shown around the internet. So you can see tall, skyscrapers and, you know, long banner ads across the top, and then this medium rectangle that we see here. Have a look, and once you're happy with everything that you've got, click done, and then they'll go off and create it for you. You can just choose one. You could choose several and edit them all so that you've got a few different ads running that you can test against each other. But once you've done what you edited them and selected the ones you like, make sure you've got that little green button selected on the ones that you want to go ahead with, and then press the save button at the top, and then Google will go off and create all your ads for you. Now, the final option in that list was Ad Gallery. Now, this is where you need to come to create your dynamic shopping ads. Okay, so we won't bother with any of the others, they're not relevant for now. So when you click on dynamic ads, when I'm recording this now, we've got one dynamic responsive ad, which is in beta mode on the left there. The traditional, the sort of standard one that we've all been using up until now is the custom image ad that I've got highlighted there. Feel free to test. The only way you'll find out whether these things work is to test, and whether you like them, whether they're any good. So, but I'm going to just briefly show you the custom image ad. So that will, once you choose that option, it'll bring you through to this screen, similar to the previous screen. Only, now bear in mind, on this particular account that I'm just demonstrating on, I don't have a product feed linked. So in that sample ad that you're seeing there, where you've got the shop now, what you will see when you've chosen your feed up on the left there, you will see your products in those ads, and it will show the product, the title, and various options depending on what you choose. All right. So another thing well worth testing here, they have lots and lots of different layouts. So where it says at the top there, let AdWords automatically pick from your preferred layouts. Obviously, if you've never been in here before, you won't have any preferred layouts. They really are quite, they've got some quite sort of slick looking ones, some very minimal ones, some very kind of fussy ones, carousel, swirling ad type ones. Depends on your brand, depends on your products, which ones you will prefer. So have a little browse through. You can scroll through those ones there and get a if you scroll through that list of images across the screen there and click on various ones, you'll get a preview down the bottom. So you can say to Google, do you know what, I'll just give you the data, you go off and show any type of ad that you like. I don't like doing that. I like to pick one, and then if I want to test, I can specifically say, right, this ad group has these ads, this ad group has a different ad, and I can see which ones work better. But it's entirely up to you. Or you can say, if you do find one that you really like and you just want to have that layout for your ads, then you can select one layout up at the top there. There's an option to upload your own layout. That we're starting to get quite complicated there, but that's for another time. Then you just go down, choose upload your logo and add headlines, and every time you add something, it will show you the preview on the right hand side. So just make sure you fill everything in that you can, and then save that, and then that will be your dynamic search ad. So when somebody sees that ad, the products they see within that ad will be the products that they viewed when they were on your website. And that is it. So that'll be your first remarketing campaign set up. I think I've probably covered most of the best practices going through this, but I'm just going to briefly go through them here. One that I haven't covered is your privacy policy. When you start remarketing, and Google, well, I don't know whether they manually check it. They probably do. They've probably got somebody somewhere who would go and check this. It's very important that your privacy policy is updated to reflect the fact that you're obviously tracking people with your remarketing code, and they're very hot on this. So this link here this bit.ly link here will take you to the Google support page that gives you all the information that you need to know about what to add to your privacy policy to cover you for doing remarketing. So please, please, please make sure that you read that and update it. You can do Google searches for kind of templates for these privacy policies. So you should be able to find something fairly easily. But just make sure you check it and make sure it's updated. The frequency capping, this is the big one, as I mentioned before. This really is important so that you don't annoy people. Image ads 2 to 3 per day, text ads 5 to 7 per day. Text ads are just not as noticeable, so you can get away with a few more, but just double check that you've got that set up as well. And most importantly, as with anything with AdWords, you must make sure that you are tracking everything. You must be using conversion tracking. There's no point doing anything with AdWords if you're not tracking your results. So make sure your conversion tracking is working so that you can see sometimes ads will work better. Some ads will work better than others. So make sure you do create a couple of alternative ads so that you can test, because some ads will work better than others. Check, compare colors, compare your call to actions, compare, the text you have on your buttons, compare the images, the colors, and make sure you track and test and keep testing and keep keep working to improve everything all the way through. That's the important thing. I did mention this as well, so also it's very important to use these exclusions. So the main one, which is a standard one for any remarketing campaign, is to exclude visitors who have already purchased from you. Another thing that you can do is to look at people who have spent less than 10 seconds on your website. If they didn't spend 10 seconds, then they're clearly not a very good lead and they're not very highly targeted. You can exclude them. Okay, so that you are only focusing on this is getting quite funky, it's getting quite advanced, but it's just giving you an idea of how much control that you can have with these remarketing lists, and you really can get quite specific as to who you're targeting with these ads. And the only other advice is to actually just start. Even if you, at the moment, think, no, I'm not going to do remarketing. I'm not going to do a remarketing campaign. If you do nothing else, just add the tag to your site, because as soon as you have the tag on your site, you can start building these lists, and you don't have to start advertising tomorrow. You might decide in 3 months' time that you want to run a campaign, or you want to try and follow up, and you've got a special offer or something, you've got some launch, you want to get people back. Your people will be there. They'll be ready and waiting for you to show them some ads. So that's the one thing that I would say, if you do nothing else, is to just get organized and get the tag on your website so that you can be building those lists and have that audience ready to show ads to them sometime down the line, if not as soon as possible. What I want you to do next is also to head over to Facebook and go and join my Facebook group, Help with AdWords. And if you have any questions or need any help, just post it in there, and I'll be on it, and I will answer and help wherever I can. I also in there post updates and hints and tips and all sorts of stuff that will help you manage your AdWords campaigns. Also, if you feel like you either would like some more help, or if you'd like to just see how well you're managing your own account, then you can book a free account audit by visiting my website. This is the link to the page. If you just go to oneeyedcat.com, there is a link there to book your free account audit. There's no commitment for booking an audit, but what it will do is I will go through the entire audit report with you, explaining everything and showing you exactly what areas of your account can be improved, whether you're whether you've got areas that you're actually wasting money with because you've got it set up wrong or anything like that. So I do encourage you to book a free audit. You've got nothing to lose, and you could end up gaining a lot. You can take the information and you can go and implement it yourself and really see some big improvements with your campaigns. My contact information is there if you want to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and if you did want to email me directly, there's my email address there. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your feedback on this training, and if you have any questions about AdWords, I'm more than happy to answer them. But as I said before, go and join my Facebook group. I really look forward to seeing you in there, and good luck with your AdWords and your remarketing. Bye for now.